What is the difference between ketogenic diets, ketone esters, and ketone supplements and how they support and maintain ketosis? And part of the reason I'm interested in this is a lot of these ketosis supplements are the rage. And I've had coaches at the gym who are pushing this stuff and saying, you don't even need to be on a ketosis or on a keto diet. You just take this a couple times a day. And as I thought about it, I thought that can't be the right way to do it. So I'm interested in hearing from an expert on your thoughts on them.
Yeah, so I'd like to preface it by saying it's very context dependent, right? So just going back to our research real quick, like the military wanted something that could rapidly produce a state of ketosis just prior to a mission. And with dietary ketosis, it could take a week or 2 weeks to really get your ketone levels elevated in some people. So we do know that you could acutely administer a ketogenic ester or a ketone salt product just 30 minutes before doing a high pressure oxygen dive that could trigger a seizure. And you could delay that seizure up to over 500%. So you could basically, instead of having a seizure in 10 minutes, you could go up to an hour without having a seizure. That's better than any anti-seizure drug. So let's kind of take a step back again. There's 4 ways to get into ketosis. One is simply stop eating, right? And then your body will go into what's called fasting ketosis. So you can elevate ketones, and that's your fat making ketones. And then there's the ketogenic diet, which is a very calculated diet that's therapeutic. There's also drugs that can inhibit glycolysis. And metformin does this a little bit, 2-deoxyglucose, like things that we work with in the lab can do it. Another way to elevate ketosis is with a type of fat called MCT oil. So medium chain triglyceride oil is actually derived from coconut oil or palm kernel oil. It's an 8 carbon. So when we consume MCT oil, instead of being packaged into chylomicrons, it goes to the liver via hepatic portal circulation, and then that stimulates fatty acid oxidation in the liver to produce ketones. So some of the MCT oil that you drink gets converted to ketones independent of our diet. So we can elevate it eating a standard diet, but only a small amount. We can only elevate ketones so much with MCT oil. So the next level would be exogenous ketones, and that would be ketone salt. And when I'm talking about a salt, I'm talking about an electrolyte like sodium, potassium, magnesium, taking beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the ketone that we measure in the blood, and then ionically binding that to electrolytes. Prior to us starting research, there was only sodium beta hydroxybutyrate, and this was not very feasible. But part of the research that we did is bring attention to, you could take ketones and combine it with electrolytes that are very important for athletic performance, right? So a balanced ratio of sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium. So some of the work that we have done have led to the development of ketone salts, but that was probably after the work that we did with ketone esters, which we still do work on ketone esters and then ketone salts. When you consume these things, it puts the body into a state of ketosis. And if you draw blood from the person, it looks like you fasted for a week or 2 weeks. But it's in the context of weight loss, it's important to understand that there's absolutely no substitute for a well-formulated diet. And nutrition is paramount, and it's really important to optimize nutrition before you start thinking about supplements. So supplements are only that. They're supplements. And there's some supplements that are really important with a ketogenic diet. One is carnitine, because when you're metabolizing fat, you tend to use up a lot of your carnitine that helps transport the fat into the mitochondria. So if you do start a ketogenic diet, it's probably important to take carnitine, magnesium, and then electrolytes. So a beneficial supplement on a ketogenic diet could be a ketone salt product, which is basically a ketone electrolyte product, because you're replacing a lot of the electrolytes that you're losing. And this can help people that have the keto flu. A lot of people, when they start the ketogenic diet, they have a headache, they feel nauseous from all the fat. And many people just cannot tolerate the high fat intake associated with the ketogenic diet. So this is concerning to them because they want to get the benefits of ketones, but if they don't have enough fat while lowering carbohydrates really low, they're not getting into a state of ketosis. So one way to get all the benefits of carbohydrate restriction, to get that insulin low and glucose low, and then get benefits of ketones too, is to just do a low carb diet and then incorporate a ketone supplement on top of that. So the ketones will do a number of important things. It changes your brain chemistry, which is in a good way. It lowers inflammation, and it also increases insulin sensitivity and tends to have a glucose lowering effect on your blood on top of that.